it is natural foods that they were cooking in a natural way.
Mm,
And that's what I want in my garden. That's what I want to see at a store. I want to see us cooking like that indigenous food,
mm,
remembering who we are,
mm,
celebrating who we are through
mm,
the stuff that we are actually growing.
mm. Hi, family. Welcome to Real Life Stories with Pitumelo Mankoroni. Thank you so much for tuning in today. It has been a long time without having a guest. Today, I have a special woman with us, Conce Moraba. She's going to tell us about, the foundation of all. She's an agricultural enthusiast. She's going to tell us about the foundation of how everything started. Let me tell you what I thought when we agreed on meeting is that now we're going to learn about how food are made, how everything started, because agriculture, I believe, it has been the foundation of all from the beginning. So now we are going to go back and look at the heritage and the inheritance and where everything started, the foundation. Thank you for joining us, Conce. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure to me. Thank you for having me.
Wow, we are going to have a great time.
Absolutely. Hey, when two women are like joined and talking all things foundation and agri and food, recipe for a good time.
We are bringing the world.
Yes.
Yes. Can you please tell us a bit about yourself?
Okay, so I am an agricultural economist by
Yeah.
profession.
Mm-hmm.
I know I refer to myself as an agricultural enthusiast or a conversationalist on YouTube or on platforms. If you've seen me doing some interviews, I'm from a small town in Leidenburg.
Okay.
It's a small mining community surrounded by a lot of agriculture. After studies, I went to study agricultural economics because I just found like it was a nice merge between nature and to
Yeah.
become. And
Yeah.
I'm the type of person like I have to have some sort of like life where I am immersed in nature.
Hmm.
It's just part of who I am, part of how I grew up, surrounded by parents who are like growing their own, food and stuff. It's always been part of my DNA.
Hmm.
So that's how I end up in the industry. But yeah, I'm a mom, I'm a wife.
Yes.
I work in crop protection. So I work for a company that produces all these herbicides, insecticides, fungicides, all these chemicals that you guys are spraying on your plants,
Hmm.
especially your grains, your oil seeds, your fruits, and like your vegetables, to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that it's in tip-top shape. You get your maximum yields. It looks good. It tastes good. It's the best quality you can have. And in a nutshell, I'm just passionate about people. I'm passionate about raising awareness around agriculture. I'm
Yes.
passionate about sharing agriculture in a different light.
Yes.
When you see agriculture or you hear agriculture, you never think of it as a career prospect that could be,
Yes.
fulfilling,
Hmm.
or something as a woman you want to partake in, because you're always thinking, male dominated,
Hmm.
perhaps even just white people.
Yeah.
It has a bad rap. And as
Yeah.
much as definitely there is history to that, there's a bit of fact in it,
Hmm.
it's changing. I'm
Yes.
seeing more and more young people getting involved.
Hmm.
And I want to share those stories with those people that, guys, there is opportunities here.
Yes.
There are people who look like me, people who sound like me, people
Yeah.
with my previous background
Hmm.
who are killing it in this industry,
Yes.
and in a very different, diverse ways. It's
Hmm.
not just the actual planting and the harvesting, but there are many other things you can do within the industry. And that is basically what Conce is all about. And
Yeah.
that's what you will see if you follow me on any of my platforms.
Hmm.
That's my message that I just want to share with the world.
Yeah. So whenever I hear about agriculture, I'm just thinking about the back of my house.
Mm.
I didn't think there's career out of it.
Hmm.
And if there's career, I'm just thinking of, the short, going to the farm. I've never really
Yeah.
thought of anything. And thank you so much, so that for people like you, that will bring awareness. So now, what are specific aspects of agriculture that you're passionate about, and why?
Mm. I I love digital agriculture.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of the things that is really growing rapidly. If you look at farms now and how we are farming now, it is absolutely different to how people were farming 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of like your drone applications. There's precision farming. There's sustainable farming where people are using like things like hydroponics, aquaponics, like soilless farming, like we're actually not even farming in on the soil itself, but like in a tunnel somewhere
Wow.
vertically without, we just water and nutrients that are like moving through pipes and things, just giving the roots and the seed what it needs to germinate and grow. And when you think about it, I mean, there's only so much land. I know people will say we have so much land, but not all land is arable. So
Mm.
you can't just farm anywhere and everywhere.
Mm.
Some of this land that you get in the outskirts are not good, it's not fertile and stuff like that. So we're moving to a place where we are getting more smarter in how we're using things.
Mm.
And that's where it gets exciting because you could literally be looking like this in your nice hills with Dumelo in your jean
Yeah.
and looking at your lettuce in your nice house that is growing vertically, or you've got
Mm.
some tanks and your fish there is providing feed for your plants because you're doing aquaponics. So there's so much to do within the agricultural space in the digital sense. And
Yes.
young people, more and more young people are getting involved. So that's one, and that's where the opportunities are lying. Two, when I see agriculture, I don't see it like, for example, you were saying you're removing your pavement. It's like you are saying you're taking away from your life. It's
Mm.
bringing something into your life.
Mm.
There's a wellness link to agriculture. If you ever worked with your hands and you see something grow, it is therapeutic.
Yeah.
It is healthy. We're
Mm.
going back to kind of like a life that we have missed when
Mm.
it comes to appreciating agriculture. I
Mm.
see a lot of people doing vegetable gardens, and
Mm.
a lot of it has picked up since COVID
Mm.
because now you realize that we're not as healthy as we used to be. So by being part of the industry, even if it's at a small scale, like you just having a small patch of a vegetable garden, you are eating more organic food, you
Mm.
are eating more wholesomely, you have a
Mm.
nice several colors dinner, like from your leafy greens to your carrots and stuff like that. And also your knowledge is also growing. Now
Yeah.
you know more. I mean, how many people know how to grow their food now? It's
A
a
lot.
skill we are
Mm.
losing.
Mm.
So that's what you want to like be passionate about, like acquiring those skills, teaching it to yourself, to your kids, because everybody needs food.
Yeah.
And food gets expensive, life gets expensive. Why not
Yeah.
partake in that?
Mm.
And also another thing I'm very passionate about when it comes to agriculture is like we live in a place where food security and there's poverty and not everyone can afford
Mm.
food.
Yes.
So I believe that the more we are involved in the industry,
Mm.
like we are opening up opportunities to employ other people, to
Yes.
serve those maybe, places that are not being served because of
Mm.
other affordability or access,
Mm.
markets just not really being there for them.
Mm.
And that is like the things that really keep me up at night.
And what are some of the challenges that you have encountered in your agricultural journey, and how
Mm.
did you overcome them?
Yeah, I think I kind of alluded to this also in my intro, right? It comes from a very difficult history, if I can put it that way, lightly. So, I mean, it's a lot of like Afrikaans, white,
Yeah.
male dominated,
Mm.
like generations and generations of the same people who've been in there.
Mm.
So, as much as our people or people of color are in the industry, some of them were not really the owners of the land. They
Mm.
just worked the land. And now, yes, some people, after, the system has changed, they've acquired land and they're farming, but there's not a lot of us. When
Mm.
I started my career, there was literally no representation.
Mm.
It has become better now. It is improving, but it was a difficult thing to navigate
Mm.
because you did not really know where to get the support
Yeah.
from someone you can really have like a one-on-one.
Mm.
When you join like an organization, and then maybe they speak Afrikaans, or you don't have the networks,
Mm.
and it's like a lot of old people, like, and you're this
Yeah.
young black girl, you somehow have to find your feet around it
Yes.
and make your own networks, get the knowledge. And I'm not gonna lie, it is one of those careers, even degrees, no matter which one, where you have to be proactive,
Yeah.
you have to be persistent.
Mm.
There are people that will share, and I'm not gonna lie, people in agri are very open.
mm,
Even the least that you would expect will tell you. You can call a Opa Mang Mang Beat from somewhere in
mm,
the Freistad, and he will give you what you want, and he will tell you because they're very passionate people. Like they
mm.
have this thing of like they share with their
They love
neighbors.
what they're
Yeah, they
doing.
love what they do. It's like faith based work.
Mm,
Like if my neighbor is growing maize and his maize is so amazing, he shares with his neighbor that no, this
mm,
is what I'm doing. So if you are out there and you're curious, you remain curious, you remain open to new ideas, and you are a hard worker and you
mm,
ask around, create your own networks. That is how you overcome it.
mm,
And you find people in the industry like our, it's not like I'm the first person of color to ever study agriculture who's in the industry.
mm,
You go to conferences, you go to webinars, you put yourself out there. You are going to meet a Widumelo somewhere in a conference, and you
mm,
strike up a conversation. Hey, this is what I do. And
mm.
then this person becomes your person of contact.
Yes.
And njalo njalo, that's how I grew my network.
Mm,
If I'm having something on livestock, I know who to call in the livestock. And luckily, agriculture, we have a lot of producer organizations.
mhm,
So you'd find like for the red meat producers, like that's all your beef and your lamb and stuff. They have a producer organization. If anything important is happening, it's almost like public knowledge. You
mm,
just dial up or you search on their website and you find information.
mm,
And what I do, guys, honestly, is courage. You will find it on your way. Hey, you
mm,
find a cell phone number and you call that person. Hi, how are you?
mm.
What's going on with XYZ?
Yeah.
That's how you overcome it. Because no one is really there to hold your hand and baby you through everything.
Yes.
You just have to have grit.
And how do you stay up to date with the
Mm.
latest trends, technologies, and best practices in agriculture?
Mm. So many things are happening. There's a lot of websites, there's a lot of news articles. We have like a agricultural focused publications.
Mm,
You can buy like your farmers weeklies, you can buy your whatever food from Zanzi website, read up on everything and anything that has to do with your career, whether it's agri, whether it's engineering. If you want to be a thought leader, if you want to know what's happening in your industry, be informed.
research.
Yeah, research, read.
Mm,
Don't be lazy and always be the last person in the room to know what's going on in your industry. I mean,
mm,
you are the one who's playing in it.
yeah.
So there's, like I mentioned earlier, there are a lot of like seminars,
Mm,
conferences, and in South Africa, like we have one of the largest conferences in the entire like continent, where all producers come, a lot of companies, whether it's implements, your machinery, it's your science guys who are developing seeds or whatever. They all come like for a whole week. This conference, you can go there, research, ask all the questions you want to ask, and they will give you what you need.
yeah.
So go and attend things.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I know sometimes it takes money to actually get to these places, but invest in yourself.
Yeah.
Mm. That's how you stay ahead.
And I know that fruits and veggies are seasonal.
Mm.
So I just want to find out that in this season, what should we expect and what are those that are the most important ones in this season?
In the season.
Mm,
So we are now like moving from our June, July, our citrus, our vitamin season, our flu season, to
yes.
more spring. You will see more like your deciduous fruits coming out, like your apples, your pears, you'll see
Mm,
your berries. We're getting very colorful fruits now. It's like
mm,
my favorite season. And it's important for me, I think, to buy fruits that are
mm,
very seasonal because it's fresh.
yeah.
South Africa has a vast variety of fruits that we are developing. So now it is the sweet season, guys. And think of your drinks with those berries,
Watermelon.
your mojito with your things.
Yeah.
But those are very important because when you're eating fruits that are in season, it means they are being picked when they
Mm,
are at their ripest.
mm,
And these fruits are being picked when they are at their most optimal, best
mm,
nutritional health or level.
yes.
So it gives you all the minerals, all the vitamins that you need
Mm,
for your health. And different fruits give you different vitamins. I mean, we can have like a whole episode on that. But
mm,
for me right now, you will see like your berries are coming on, your avos are still there. If you're an avo person, you'll have a lot of your grapes are mentioned. Yeah, so we have. Oh, now we're getting like a beautiful, colorful palette.
mm.
Unlike I love winter, but in winter it's literally just citrus.
Phew. Yeah.
Yeah, it's grapefruit, it's lemon, it's narky, it's
Mm,
orange.
mm,
But now it's
Almost everything.
It's almost everything. And come December, it's the watermelons, it's
My
the
God.
mangoes. So from September to December, how not choice, how not chance, and you don't have an excuse.
Yes.
Eat your fruits. Eat it. Oh,
I can't wait to
I'm
eat a
getting
watermelon.
hungry.
Watermelon, that's all that I need. I'm waiting because I know when I go home, oh, my dad will pack everything in the bucket and
Yes,
yeah.
yes, and peaches
Oh
also
my
coming
God.
on. So yeah, I've seen a lot of strawberries and
Mm,
berries in the store. You'll see that a lot of promotions as well
mm,
because those are the fruits that are in season. It's better to buy seasonal fruits than fruits that are not in season
mm-hmm.
because usually those are then imported.
Oh yeah.
Yes, because it means we don't have it currently in South Africa.
Oh
And when
yes.
it's imported, you are paying a higher price because it costs like money to get it here, like
Mm,
transportation, packaging, and all of that.
mm,
What else? Freezing it or yeah, cold storage. So if you want to save yourself a buck, I always tell people eat whatever is in season in South Africa because
that's
it's literally coming from Brits, which is like an hour away from here,
yeah.
or it's coming from a near Krugersdorp or whatever.
Mm,
So you're going to get it at the cheapest price you can.
okay. And for some of us who would want to start gardens in our own yard,
Mm.
would you advise us to start with seeds or seedlings? Which one is the best?
Mm, I honestly always say that with seedlings and with seeds, it will
Mm,
depend on what you're growing, one, and your
mm,
own like level of gardening expertise, whether you're a
mm,
complete beginner or you're intermediate and that.
mm,
But with seedlings, sometimes it's easier, especially for your microgreens or something that you can transplant back into your garden. So then you will start potted in a little, those little trays,
yes.
and that's how you would grow your seedlings. And when it's good enough, it's strong enough to withstand whatever adversity is out there,
Mm,
then you transplant that
mm,
into your garden, into the soil,
mm,
because it has now germinated.
mm,
So it can withstand some of the soil borne diseases you would have gotten and probably not have germinated. So you're increasing like your germination rate.
mm,
But also with seeds, depending on how you grow them, they will also germinate and they'll be good. You
mm,
just need to buy good variety seeds,
mm.
good resistant seeds. You get seeds that are resistant to diseases.
Okay.
So read your packaging, grow them well, always make sure that the depth is okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I never stress this. Every time I talk about gardening anyway, I always stress this. You can never be stressed enough. Your soil health is very important.
Yeah.
Even if it's a seedling or it's a seed, if the foundation of how and where you're planting is not taken care of, you're not going to have good germination or good crop. You have to make sure that your soil is the right soil, perhaps, for what you're growing. It is nutrient full. Like you have to mix it like with maybe a fertilizer or a
Mm,
manure and give it enough water if it wants to be, if it requires water. Make sure it's nice, it's loose, it's fluffy, it's rich, full of food,
mm.
so that your seedlings or your seeds can germinate and you get like the good crop that you want, good veggies.
I hear you.
Mm.
And now, in this month of heritage, what
Mm.
advice can you give to people? What must we not lose in touch with? What must we continue
Mm.
inheriting? The inheritance that we must not lose or neglect in agriculture.
I love how you touch on inheritance, and
Mm,
I love how at the beginning of the podcast you mentioned like our own inheritance and what we want to do in our past and our history.
mm,
And it's Heritage Month. Think of the foods you grew up with Dumelo, like moroho,
mm,
like all this indigenous food that we
mm,
have forgotten. Now you're eating your lasagnas and you're eating your these things, but we're forgetting like our sorghum pap.
mm,
We're forgetting that, that hot body chicken.
mm,
We're forgetting how to even prepare some of, like there's different mirojo out there. Like
mm,
now we all eat spinach.
mm,
And sometimes what you get in the store is really not that nice.
mm,
So I would say, as a challenge, even to myself, like it's Heritage Month, yes, but thinking of agri and just thinking of my own garden,
mm,
I would love to just go back to basics.
mm.
And I would love to tap into my grandmother's menu again.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, like I don't even have English terms for some of these plants I want to mention because
Ndidalele, ke talela, morogo wa talela
exactly.
ngwaneso. There's nothing that you can name.
I want to plant tepe,
Yeah,
and
tapping
I want to eat
plant
morojo, like
leruto,
exactly, and just do, that is like very good natural foods that we
mm,
are missing in our diet. I mean,
mm,
when you look at your grandma and you're looking at your mama's skin, that is
mm,
clear.
mm,
Zero microbe
mm,
needling and whatnot, but it is natural foods that they were cooking in a natural way.
mm,
And that's what I want in my garden. That's what I want to see at a store. I want to see us cooking like that indigenous food,
mm,
remembering who we are,
mm,
celebrating who we are through
mm,
the stuff that we are actually growing.
mm.
I mean, I'm sure there's a market for it. I know for a fact I would go and buy tepe if it was there at Food Lovers Market or a Pick and Pay.
Unfortunately, that was not my favorite. My
It
favorite
was too
was,
slimy.
no, my favorite is, it's still
Huh?
telele, the slimy one.
Yes.
That is my favorite.
Oh,
And I used to love mopani worms, but
yeah.
I just don't know what changed. I think growth happened even when I was still
Mm,
at home. But what telele, oh, I
yes.
will eat it.
Oh gosh, that was slimy. Texture is not sitting well with me. Maraya. Everybody has their thing, and that's it was beautiful. It was what we grew up with and what we enjoyed,
Mm,
and we are losing that.
yeah.
Our kids might not know telele and
Mm,
tepe,
mm,
leroto, and all these things.
mm,
So if I'm thinking now, it would be a very nice heritage touch just to talk about that because that's a big part of agriculture.
yeah.
Just speaking of sorghum, I mean, like your brown porridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I usually make soft porridge, kayona, but
Mm,
that was one of Africa's first grains, like
mm,
white grains, like your white maize
mm,
and things that we eat now. It came, I can't remember how many years, but sorghum was actually Africa's first grain. Like that's how our great, great, great ancestors actually
yeah.
ate. They didn't eat white pap. They didn't even know it
Oh.
existed. It came via the boat. I can't remember which year, but I was reading an article how it came from America to us.
Wow, now I was born that time when we started eating white. So I,
Could be maybe a few generations, but all I'm saying is that it wasn't even indigenous to South Africa or
oh
Africa.
wow.
It is something that came and then we started growing due to just
Mm,
colonization and moving to a more Western palate.
wow, that's powerful.
Mm,
That's powerful. You see, I've learned something. Because as for me, I grew up, I knew we are eating the white one, we are
mm.
planting the white one,
And now, if
and
you
the other one is for Mutepa, that's it.
and if you want to give it to your kids, no, mommy, I don't want brown pap.
Yeah, yeah. And while we're still in this, what advice can you give to women, more
Mm,
especially in your career of choice
mm,
regarding the economy? Gore basadi ba fem- or fo
mm.
botse gore di direng?
So I work in agri and I'm an agricultural economist by
Mm,
profession, like I mentioned. So
mm,
I did a lot of like trends,
mm,
looking at prices.
mm,
Gore, when is what, going up and down
mm,
based on availability and
mm,
seasonality and weather and all of that stuff. And I always like know Gore during, let's say, both my Easter, so
mm,
I know vegetables go up
mm,
because they're expecting you guys to go and cook up a storm.
mm,
You'll see that your poultry prices will go up. You'll see that meat prices will go up.
mm,
So I usually like track prices over
mm.
time to see when is it the season that things are going down, and that's how I shop.
Oh,
Yeah, that's why I was even mentioning the whole seasonal thing and buying
yeah.
stuff in season.
Mm,
Like now, it's September.
mm,
They know the South African consumer buys a lot of meat. If I know that I was gonna buy, best believe I bought my meat in August. I'm not gonna buy it this week and next week because they're gonna mark it up. Because you guys are gonna
oh,
buy next week because it's Heritage Weekend. It's a Braai Day.
oh, yeah, yeah.
So that's how I use like my knowledge in terms of the economy, like as a woman, as someone who works in the industry, as someone who understands trends and seasons,
Mm,
right? Just be savvy with your money.
mm,
Look at what's going on around you because the retailers and the farmers, they don't just produce and all year long and the supplies the same like this all year. There
mm,
are seasons when things are up and things are down,
mm,
and when there's not enough supply in the market, prices are usually up.
mm.
Like I'm sure you've heard now, Jorge, there's like a problem with some avian influenza,
Oh,
and you
yeah.
don't think it affects you, right? Because you're
Mm,
like, some farmer, hey, hey, his
mm,
birds are dying.
mm.
But then causes an egg shortage in the market.
Oh,
Suddenly
yeah.
your eggs are 80 rand. You're just complaining, eh, my adura.
Hey.
That's why it's expensive because there are not enough chickens to lay their eggs because of a virus that has
Mm.
affected the whole herd. And this guy had to cull his chickens. So now that's why your eggs are
It's
80
okay.
rand for 60.
Mm.
stuff like that. Then you hold off and you check it out, you suss out the situation. Is it a temporary thing? Is it long term? If it's long term, unfortunately, maybe you do really need to buy eggs and you buy your eggs. But
Mm.
if it's something you can go without for 2 weeks, why not hold off?
Yeah. Yeah.
It goes a long way. Like
Yes.
everything is so expensive now with
Mm.
Dumelo, you
Yes.
have to be savvy.
Everything.
You have
Everything.
to be savvy with your
Mm.
money, with your budget,
Mm.
and see where you can make a buck. Even like some of your vegetable gardening, that's you saving some money. You
Mm.
growing your own spinach, and it's
Yeah.
fresh. Because sometimes you buy things and then you store it and then it goes
Mm.
off. So when you know you're just gonna pick that one carrot from your garden, you take that one carrot, you cook it, life goes on.
Yeah.
You're saving food waste,
You're saving time as
you're
well.
saving time. So we just need to be more cognizant of what's happening around us,
Mm.
be informed,
Mm.
stay ahead of what's happening, and
Mm.
use your common sense, guys.
Mm.
Things are
Mm.
expensive,
Yeah.
budget,
Mm.
save.
Mm.
Like, yeah, the economy is really like about supply and demand.
And where can people find you?
So with Tumelo, I am on Instagram. You
Hmm.
can find me at Conce Moraba.
Yes.
Just my name, surname, no space. And also I have another page on Instagram
Mm.
at the Agri Duo. So that is like my page that I share with Karabo for all our podcast information and our
Okay.
YouTube information.
Mm.
And then we have a YouTube channel and it's called Food for Thought with
Okay.
Karabo and Conce. So you
Okay.
can catch all our fabulous YouTube videos. And lastly, we are piloting our podcast,
Hmm.
also the Agri Duo podcast.
That's powerful.
And yeah, and you can find that on Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Mm. And yeah, here we are. You have learned, you have seen. We have powerful women that are in agriculture. You have learned. And please do not forget to leave a comment below to tell us what have you learned and what are you going to implement. Give us a thumbs up. Please do not forget to follow her on Instagram. I will plug you here with her handles. And as you follow her, please follow me as well. And do not forget to hit the subscribe button on both channels and on ours, family, we are about to monetize. And until then, we are saying what?
Bye.
Bye.